Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Janavallabha Giribharadhari. Gopi Janavallabha Gopi Janavallabha Giribharadhari. Gopi Janavallabha Yashodha Nandana Raja Janaranjana. Yashodha Nandana Raja Janaranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari Hera Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Janavallabha Giribharadhari. Jai Gopi Janavallabha Giribharadhari. Yashodhanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yashodhanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yashodhanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yashoda Nandana Braja Janaranjana. Jamuna Tira Vanachari Hera Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Sisi Radha Madhava ki jai, Srimati Radharani ki jai, Jai Go Premanande Hare. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Shaminiti Namane. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shanyavadi Paschatya Dasatani. Mukam Karoti Vachalam Bhangulangayati Girim Jakrapatamaham Vande Siguru Dinatari. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. One time I was in Jagannath Puri, and we were staying at a guest house. And it was a guest house run by the Gaudiya Math. And it was across the street from their temple, and we went to their temple one day. In the afternoon, they were doing bhajan. And we walked in, it was myself, Krishna Kripa from Houston, Kostuba, you from Wisdom of the Sages. This was like 1990, I don't know, 1992 or something. And so when we walked over there, they asked us, would you like to lead a bhajan? And I said, no, I've come to hear you. And I always wondered what melody they used for Sri Rupa Manjari, because Vishnu Jan introduced that. And I assumed maybe it was his melody, and Sri Rupa Manjari Pada, it's a prayer to Rupa Manjari, Rupa Goswami, who is Rupa Manjari. And we don't know anything about Radha unless we know it from Rupa Goswami and the other Goswamis. That's how we know anything. Otherwise, we're not qualified. Anyway, something interesting happened. They said, we are not allowed to sing that song. Only Srila Bhakti Siddhanta and our Guru Maharaj, they were disciples of Srila Sridhar Maharaj, only they can sing it. I said, that was interesting, since we are very accustomed to sing that song. And then later on, I learned another thing, which was that in the Gaudiya Math, when they read through Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita, when they get to the topic of the gopis and Radha, they don't make any commentaries, they just read it. And now I have to give class about Radharani, which is like the top of the top of the top. And in the material world, when you speak on a topic professionally, one of the things you do is you introduce yourself, and you introduce why it is that you're qualified and how it is that you're qualified on, well, I wrote a book on this, or I have a PhD on this topic, or I've been teaching this at the university for 20 years. So you want people to have faith in you, that you have qualification, and I can't say that today, that I have any qualification to speak about Radharani. And when I was asked to give this class, I was trying to convince Sri Gaurangi that you should ask someone else. You're always asking me, and this is very, it's not difficult to talk about Radharani, it's just difficult to understand. We can read. There's so much about Radharani in Prabhupada's books and his lectures. The Goswamis have written so many prayers about their love for Radha. It's abundant. But to actually understand it, that is a different universe. And so I have some, anxiety. I'm usually not troubled to speak. I'm troubled to stop speaking, but this is a very high topic. So what I thought we would do is, well, actually what happened this morning, I just came back. I've been in Europe for a few months, and I just came back. And on the airplane, I was preparing. I was reading the 4th chapter. If you want to know about Radharani, 4th chapter of Chaitanya Charitamrita is because it's talking about Lord Chaitanya's descent, so it has to talk about Radharani because he's going to be experiencing the heart, the emotions, the feelings of Radharani. So it's all about Radharani. So I compiled that, and then yesterday and a few days before that and after that, I was reading some things, and it's all a mishmash on my computer. And then I thought, well, this morning I'll chant like 8 rounds, and then I'll go to my computer. But because it's Radhastami, and I was feeling like I couldn't stop chanting. You know, like when you go to Vrindavan, and it's like, you can chant 100 rounds more easily than you can chant like 4 in America. But today, because it's Radhastami, Radharani's mercy is like, it's all over the place. And I was feeling it. I was like, I can't stop chanting. So by Krishna's grace, this class is not going that long, because if it went an hour, I would be completely disorganized. But I think I can cut it for a half an hour. But anyway, if it's not entirely organized, please forgive me. I want to tell a story about the sweetness of Radharani, because one of the qualities of Radharani is she is sweetness personified. And I think today we're already feeling it, and we will feel her sweetness. And when you go to Vrindavan, you feel immediately Radharani's sweetness, isn't it? Like there's something, when you get to Vrindavan, it's not like Delhi, and it's not like America, and it's not like Europe. When you get to Vrindavan, it's special. And I have a beautiful story. I mean, we all know this who's been to Vrindavan. It's so special when you go there. You just feel like, you don't feel the same as you feel anywhere else, isn't it? Vrindavan is like, and I lived there in the late 70s, and I got attached to it. And so when I go there, it's quite emotional, because there's no place like it. Anyway, this is the story that underscores this, and underscores what it's like today to just be here under the shade of the sweetness of Radha, which is pervading everywhere. And you can feel it, you can see it in the other devotees, everybody's so happy. And just like when you go to Vrindavan, everybody's happy, right? Isn't it? You just go there miserable, and you just stay there for an hour, and you're like happy. So there's a devotee, I believe he used to live here, Brahma Murta. Brahma Murta used to live here? Does anyone? Yeah, he used to live here. So he teaches photography, and he brings his students to do studies in different places in the world. And he brought them once to Vrindavan. And I didn't know this, but I heard the story from a devotee named Gopal, who used to be part of the 24-hour kirtan. He's the son of Ridha. And he helped take these students on a tour. So they're doing this photographic journalism, and they're going to all these places in Vrindavan. And, these are not people who knew about Vrindavan, who had any interest in Vrindavan, or necessarily anything Indian or yogic or even spiritual. And so Gopal told me this story. He said, on the last day, before they were leaving, they all came up to Gopal and said, Gopal, what is this feeling we have in Vrindavan? Why do we feel this way? We don't know what it is. These are people, you could say, just off the street. And this is what they're feeling. And what are they feeling in Vrindavan? They're feeling the sweetness of Radharani, Jaganmata, the mother of the universe. And yeah, so one thing I would suggest is, because that sweetness is so strong today, just feel it, because we need it. And we were reading this morning some things that Prabhupada said about Radharani. Maybe you've heard that. But Prabhupada said, however kind of rascal you are, it doesn't matter, whoever you are, if Radharani recommends you to Krishna, he will accept you. So, do we want the mercy of Radharani? Yes, of course. When I joined, I knocked on the door, and I said, of the Berkeley Temple in January of 1970, I said, I want to join. They knew I was going to move in. I'd been coming there for a few months. The first thing they did is take me to the Brahmacharya ashram in the bathroom and shave me up. I guess they didn't. They thought maybe he'll change his mind. So, shaving up nowadays, it's not a big thing, but in those days it was kind of a big thing, because your identity was really, you're a hippie, so your identity is in your hair. And actually I had hair one time, believe it or not, and it was shaved off. But it's so interesting, this is 1970 January, and this is what they told me. I remember to this day, this is what they told me when they're shaving my head. They said, right now Radharani is seeing you, and she's recommending you to Krishna, telling Krishna, here's another devotee, be merciful to him. Hare Krishna. I guess she was merciful, I'm still here, somehow or other. So, we all want prema. Yes, that's why we're here. If we didn't want prema, we'd be home sleeping, right? So, we want prema. We cannot get prema without Radharani's mercy. There's nothing you can do to get prema. 100 rounds, 184, 3,000. One time a devotee, a foolish devotee who left Krishna consciousness, he thought he went to Radha Kund. Weird things happened for some people when they moved to Radha Kund. A weird thing happened to him. He heard that you can't get love of Krishna unless you chant 64 rounds a day. And he was foolish enough to write a letter to Prabhupada to tell that to Prabhupada. Prabhupada's chanting 16 rounds. And this so-called disciple, or former disciple, is telling Prabhupada, unless you chant 64, you can't get love of Krishna. And Prabhupada said, you cannot force Krishna by what you do to get love. But if Radharani is pleased with you, then you can get love. That's it. Otherwise, it's impossible. It's just, we can't do it. It can only come as a gift. We don't deserve it. That is the position of Radharani. So therefore, Prabhupada says, we should pray to Radharani. Please, please, recommend me to your Krishna. And if he recommends, we're good. If he recommends, we have nothing to worry about. A lot of devotees, they worry, like, well, you know, I'm practicing Krishna consciousness, especially here in Alachua, where we have so many older devotees, so 50 years, 40 years. When you get to like 40 and 50, you start wondering, so I heard when I was a bhakta that this was going to produce love of God. 50 years later, I'm starting to wonder, how is this going to work? Yes? Any of you wonder, like you older devotees? Yeah. I was going through Bhagavad Gita. Krishna says, Man mana bhava mad bhakto majiji mam namaskuru. Mame vaishasi satyam. I promise you will come to me. If you just think of me, offer obeisances, worship me, and majji man mana. And think of me, mad bhakta, become my devotee. And Krishna says, satyam. And Prabhupada translates that without fail. And then Krishna says, pratijani, I promise. Like, just in case you don't believe me, I said I will surely do it, but I know maybe you don't believe that, so pratijani priyosime, I promise you this. So, recently I was discussing this verse with some devotees, and this doubt, can I become Krishna conscious in this life? And then we started discussing all the stories of devotees leaving their body and how they went kind of like from 0.005 in their Krishna consciousness, like 10, to 108 plus in like a few weeks when they were leaving. I mean, this has happened to so many devotees. How is that happening? What's going on? Do you think Radharani is involved? Yes. And Radharani's mercy comes through the Guru. So we are dependent on Radharani's mercy. So today, we say, Radharani, I am not qualified at all. But if you're kind upon me, then maybe you could have some mercy on me and help me. And whatever it is in my life that's getting in the way of my relationship with Krishna, maybe today is the day you can just like move it out. Imagine there's a game. It's a sandbox, because there is a game like this. My daughter showed me this game. There's a sandbox, and there's things on the side of the sandbox, and you bring them in. And I forget the context, but I have a new game for you. There's a sandbox, there's you in the sandbox, and there's Krishna, and there's all these things you can grab with your mouse that can get in the way between you and Krishna, and these are all the anarthas. So, you look at the list of anarthas and go, which one is the biggest one that's getting in the way between me and Krishna? And you pull that. It's envy, it's lust, it's greed. We all have it. We're all human. We all have that. Today, Radharani, this thing that is getting in the way, or things between me and Krishna, could you remove that? And we might think, well, how is that possible? I've tried to remove it for the last 50, I'm going on 56. I'm trying to remove it. Am I still envious? Yeah, sometimes, yeah. Am I proud? Yeah, sometimes. That's putting it lightly. Am I greedy, lusty? Yeah, sometimes. Radharani, she can remove all that. But we have to want to, and we have to pray. So today's the day. So, as promised, I want to read some things and discuss things that Prabhupada said about Radharani. This is from these are from lectures and from Chaitanya Charitamrita. There may be some Bhagavatam also. And I have 25, I have 44 pages. So, and we have about, oh yeah, we're also going to do an initiation, never done before, during class. It's going to happen at the end of class. Yeah, that's what we're doing. So that gives me less time. All right, let's go. I do not know the strength of Radha's love, with which she always overwhelms me. This is Adi Leela. So this morning we were reading something really interesting, that Krishna is not independent because he's dependent on Radharani. And I went up to Prangovind and I said, oh no, we have to change the first verse of Bhagavatam because it says Krishna is Surat, independent. I go, we just found out he's not independent. That's false information. And then I was thinking, well, you just go down and Krishna is the supreme controller. No, change the Ekala Ishwara Krishna, change that verse. It's not true because there's Parameshwari. There's a controller who controls him. And so in Krishna's bewilders the whole universe. No, he's bewildered by her. So Krishna is the supreme controller, controlled by Radha. You just go down the list. It's so interesting. Whatever it says about Krishna, it's wrong. Because there's Radha, and she's actually controlling. And every man knows, at least it takes them like 25 years being married before they figure it out, that if you get married, you're not independent. And if you're married, you're not the controller. It takes you like 25 years to finally go, okay, I'm not the controller. But you can't be happy unless you let your wife just be the controller. And Krishna also cannot be happy unless he surrenders to Radha. And when he commits offenses, he asks for forgiveness. He bows at her feet. And he wants to be controlled. He loves to be controlled. And something which is so interesting, I don't know if you know this, but you know in Krishna Leela how it's so hard for Radha and Krishna to come together. You know that, right? There's Jatila, Katila, and then a girl can't just go out and meet a boy in the middle of the day. In the spiritual world, there's no Abhimanyu, Radharani's husband. There's no Jatila. In the spiritual world, it doesn't exist. Did you know that? All these obstacles don't exist. They only exist here in the material world. Isn't that interesting? And so the intensity of the relationship between Radha and Krishna, it increases here in the material world because there's so many things that get in the way. They can't just go. You can't just like there's a story. This is the story about Krishna was playing with the cowherd boys and he said, Subal, I have to meet Radharani. I have to see her. I can't control myself. And Subal's like, why don't you just go see her? He goes, I can't go see her. You have to get her and bring her here. And he says, how am I going to do that? He said, you figure it out. So, I don't know if you know, but Subal looks just like Radharani. So, Subal goes back to Radharani's house. He's got a plan. He goes to Radharani, says, Krishna wants to see you. How are we going to do this? He said, you will dress up like me and I will dress up like you and you will escape it. He said, they'll see I'm a woman. He said, no, I came in with the calf. I told them I was looking for my calf, so when you leave, just carry a calf. So she leaves, covers her chest with the calf so they can't see. She walks out. And she goes back to Krishna, but she wants to play a joke on Krishna. So she says, she plays like she's Subal, and she says, Krishna, I couldn't take Radharani. He said, why not? It's not impossible. He said, well, what about Chandravali? What if I get Chandravali? And Krishna says, if one wants milk, curd will not do. Only Radharani will do. And then she pulls off her dress and goes, Krishna, it's your Radha. So this is just one of many, many stories where Krishna, and it's like it's hard for him to see. He has to dress up, sometimes like a sannyasi, he dresses up and begs alms at the house of Radha. And sometimes he comes as a doctor, and they create stories that Radha has been bitten by a snake, and Krishna comes as the doctor. And then Jatila, she doesn't know, and says, oh, doctor, you've cured her. You have to stay overnight with her, just to protect her. So they're doing all these leelas in this world, and we're hearing all them. And that's like, it's crazy, basically. That's the best word I can come with. Isn't it? We are so not ready for this. And Mahaprabhu says, here, we're going to give this to you. These leelas will go on. So, Rupa Goswami says something really interesting about separation. He says, when I'm with Krishna, I just see him in one place, but when I'm separated from Krishna, I see him everywhere. Isn't that beautiful? So, these leelas, they're always about separation. Everything's about separation. Radharani burning up in separation. She can't see Krishna. Krishna can't see her. It's intensifying. Krishna leaves Vrindavan. He doesn't go back. He promises he's coming back. This is all going on in the spiritual world. There's like rumors of this happening, or sometimes they kind of do it, but it's happening here. So we are witnessing the highest thing with Radha and Krishna, but the highest thing within that is separation. And Mahaprabhu is coming to experience that, and he's teaching that, and he's exhibiting that, and that's what we get to read about. And who are we? Isn't it? I can barely get out of bed in the morning on time. We can barely control ourselves when we take prasadam, isn't it? Here's the problem. We cannot understand this unless we are austere and controlled. Because to understand Radha and Krishna, they say it takes one to know one, so one has to be on that level to understand, right? So what is the level of Radha, and what level do we have to come to? We have to come to some level of purity to understand that, and that's the reward. Rukmini, you remember in Jana's film, you said at the center of the universe, there is a loving relationship. You remember that? Rukmini was interviewed, and she was in Vrindavan. She said, at the center of the universe, there's this loving relationship. Isn't that amazing? It is, isn't it? And that loving relationship is what we get to taste. But if we are not pure, we can't taste it. So sometimes devotees say, is it necessary that I do this austerity or that austerity? How much can I get away with and still go back to Godhead? Something like that. Where's the, onion sometimes? Is it okay? It's so many things. And my answer is always, the prize of pure bhakti is to understand the love of Radha and Krishna. That's the prize. And if you want that prize, you have to do some austerity. And as your heart becomes purified, you get to taste that. That's the reward. You get to taste that love between Radha and Krishna. That's the reward. You make a sacrifice. You don't try to imitate that. I think I told you before, this amazing thing happened when I was in the hospital. I was in a decrepit position, and if there ever was a time I couldn't enjoy my body, it was then. It was impossible. There was nothing about my body that I can enjoy. And it was at that moment, that was the highlight of my Krishna consciousness. And I realized, when you stop trying to enjoy, then Krishna opens the curtain. And I just read a verse or purport, and unfortunately I don't know where it is. It said exactly that way. When you become free of the desire to enjoy, the curtain opens, and then you can see Krishna. So it was like for those few weeks, even if I wanted to enjoy, it wasn't like I was so advanced that I lost every desire to enjoy. Just the body couldn't enjoy. And that's when I was having the greatest realization. And then it was like, oh, okay, that's how it works. As you become free from the desire to compete with Krishna, take his position and enjoy, he reveals. Because why would he reveal to his competition? Right? So we want to understand Radha and Krishna. How are we going to understand it? We want to understand it. We can read about it. We can talk about it. But how can we feel that love that they have, which is the supreme reward? We have to have it. And so anytime that you have some service that is difficult or have to do some austerity, just think, it's good, because by doing this, I will come closer to Radha and Krishna. So we have 5 minutes. This was just the introduction to the hour and a half talk I was going to give. But I think what's most important is Chaitanya Charitamrita Antya Lila has the Shishastakam prayers. And what is so amazing about the Shishastakam prayers is the last prayer, Aishishtava Paravatam Panastumam. There it is. Why is this verse so amazing? Because the whole Bhagavatam is a delineation of love for Krishna, and it teaches love through the actions of the devotees, right? So you read about all the devotees. And then you end up in the 10th canto and you read about the gopis who have the greatest love. So you're learning about love, Prahlad Maharaj's love and Ambarish Maharaj and so many of the good qualities. We're trying to understand love. You can't understand love just by reading about what it is. You have to see it in a person. Like someone tells you, well, just cut it like this. You cut it 3/4 and like that. And like, could you just show me? Right? So Bhagavatam is showing what love looks like. So we get up to the gopis. You want to know what pure love is? Go to the gopis. See what that looks like. And you want to really know what it looks like? Go to Radharani. That's what it looks like. And you want to really know what it looks like? It's in this verse. Aishishlava, we can chant it together. Aishishlava padaratam panastumam adarshanam marmahatam kurotuva yata tata va vidadatu lampato mat prananatastu se. Translation. Let Krishna, can we read it together? Because I can hardly see it. Let Krishna tightly embrace this maid servant who has fallen at his lotus feet. For let him break my heart by never being visible to me. He is a debauchee, after all, and can do whatever he likes, but still he alone, and no one else, is the worship. Okay, this is very heavy. I think this is way heavier than we think it is. What Radharani is saying, you can do whatever you want, anything. You can aishlisha, you can embrace me, paradatam, for your servant has fallen at your feet, you can embrace me, aishlisha paradatam, mastumam, you can break me, you can break my heart, you can leave me. After all, you're a debauchee. You're playing with all these women. You could leave me and go with these other women. You do whatever you want. But still, you are my prananath, the Lord of my life. Now, and there won't be any other prananath. No matter what you do, there won't be any other prananath. Now, why is this heavy? Because we see, for many of us, when something happens, some disaster happens in the world or in our life, sometimes there's a question. Does Krishna really care? You ever had that or seen that with another devotee? How did he allow this to happen? Maybe it's not to you, but that something happens to someone else. This is so heavy. It's actually difficult to talk about. And then you have the verse in Bhagavatam where the devotee feels like, well, whatever happened, it should happen worse. I deserve worse. It's so difficult to talk about these things because this world is unjust and unfair and people do bad things and maybe not even our karma. It's just, there's a story. What karma did Draupadi have? And Krishna said it's not her karma. These people did the wrong thing. So it's a karma. It's so difficult to understand. Not your karma. People did the wrong thing. And still, Radharani is saying the level of pure devotion is whatever happens, I don't complain. You are my Lord. That is the goal. I can't say that. I don't want to shame anyone into feeling like, well, if you're not on that level, might as well turn in your bead bag and take off your neck beads. It's not like that. But that's the level. That's the level of pure bhakti that she manifests. That's the level we're trying to come through to. And this verse exhibits that. Now, in the purport, there's many, many verses after this Lord Chaitanya is explaining, and in the purports, as we know, we've heard this before, that Radharani says that I cannot experience any happiness unless it gives Krishna happiness. Question for all of you. Have you ever experienced happiness that didn't give Krishna happiness? Yes or yes? That's being a conditioned soul. Have you ever done something? It's like, I know I shouldn't do this, but I just like it. And I'm going to do it. It doesn't give, your guru doesn't want you to do it. Krishna doesn't want it. It's not going to give anybody any happiness but you. Have you ever done that? Now, you don't have to raise your hand, but many of us have done it. Probably all of us have done it, right? And what about the opposite one? I don't want to do this. Why don't you want to do it? It won't make me happy. Yeah. we've all done that we're conditioned souls. This would still, even advanced devotees are doing, oh, Prabhu, don't ask me to do that, why don't you want to do it? I just don't want to do it. It's so hard, it's so difficult. And Radharani is saying, if I do something that makes me happy, and it doesn't make Krishna happy, that makes me miserable. And if something makes me miserable, but it makes Krishna happy, it makes me happy. That's the level of pure bhakti. That's what she exemplifies. So I think on this day, it is the perfect day to meditate on the pure bhakti of Radharani, because that is our goal, to come close to that. And as I said, we can't just work our way up to it, but we can pray for it. Radharani, could you give me a little bit of that today? Like, I don't think I'm qualified for a lot of that. Could you give me a little? One devotee asked Prabhupada why Krishna doesn't give us love, just like give it. He said, you would misuse it. You're not qualified for it. You have to be qualified for it. Why can't I just go back to Godhead? You'd ruin everything. You'd be up there, hey, how come everyone's worshiping Krishna? Why don't you worship me? Isn't it? So we can pray, Radharani, can you give me a drop? Could you make me qualified? Just give me something, because this is the emblem of pure bhakti. This verse. This is such a heavy verse. That's what I wanted to say. Thank you for listening. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gutai Go Premanandi, Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna. There are so many qualified devotees here. It's so embarrassing. Like everywhere I go, it's all younger devotees. It's like easy. But here, there's so many seniors. You all know so much, and you're allowing me to speak. Thank you. So, as promised, in the last few minutes, we're going to do something unconventional. Vasily is going to be initiated, and I'm going to New Vrindavan, and I'm going to do initiation there. But because Vasily lives here, I almost said his initiated name because it's very similar. Because Vasily lives here, we all thought, well, you know him, we should do it here, right? And Prangovinda, can you say something about Vasily a little more? We want to hear about his glories. And Vasily, excuse us for embarrassing you.
In our Bhakta ashram, it's very easy to say, let's make devotee. But try to wake up everybody who are over 30 years old, coming fresh from the material world, and tell them they should get up at 3:30 in the morning, finish their 16 round before Mangalarti, if it's possible. If not, but he's one of those wonderful devotee that I never have to wake him up. He actually wakes up. And he's ready to finish his rounds. It's so joyful. I wish everybody would, everybody is, but he's one of those most exalted, I would say. There's a many qualification he has. Another thing is Srila Prabhupada's book distribution. It doesn't matter whenever, wherever we have a free days. In our ashram we have only 2 days, 1 day free and another day is cleaning ashram. But even that day, he would go out and distribute books. He really has a deep attachment to continue serving non-stop. So I would feel very happy that if we get today he's going to get the blessing from Mahatma Prabhu and continue his service. 5 things we do. We do a sadhana every day, wake up morning and then chant Hari name, 16 round minimum. Then we also learn how to surrender and then do some practical seva and we honor prasadam. These 5 things makes the Bhakta ashram as a core devotee. And they're all good. They're all good. There are some out here, they are listening. They're all good. But Vasily, I have some affection because he really has a love for distributing books. And he will not talk bad about any devotee. This is such a wonderful quality. So I beg all of you, please bless him so that he can continue his spiritual journey smoothly and safely.
Haribo. Thank you. So normally we talk about the 10 offenses and so forth, but I've spoken about that before. You can go online and listen to some initiation lecture. You should first pay obeisances to Prabhupada, and then come up here and pay obeisances. Maybe from a distance. Oh yeah, whatever.
You can go.
So whenever I have a disciple, it's always a great blessing that the disciple has good association. So he has such good association with his Bhakti leader, who is a strict sadhaka. And so I'm very happy that he's taking guidance, makes my life easier. But Vasily he has no problem. Nothing is a problem for him. Whatever, isn't it? Like whatever he comes across, it's just like, yeah, we'll just do this, we'll fix it this way, like, yeah, whatever. So, what are the regulative principles?
No meat eating, no illicit sex, no gambling, and no intoxication.
How many rounds?
16 rounds, minimum.
What kind of rounds?
When I chant quality rounds.
Good. Yeah, because there's no need of chanting bad rounds. That doesn't help, It's like, 16 counterfeit dollars, no need. You have to be real. So this is really, really important, because sometimes we think we're chanting and we're not actually chanting. We're chanting like a shadow mantra, It's not the real thing. So this is very important. So I had a realization when choosing his name. His parents made a mistake. They mixed up the I and the A. It should have been the other way around. So, your name is Vishal Das.
Vishal Prabhu ki jai.
So, or in Sanskrit it's Vishala. So, Vasily became Vishal. That was just a mix-up there. His parents weren't thinking straight when they gave him the name. So Vishal is a cowherd boy, and Vishal means very great. And there are other personalities in Bhagavatam also by that name. And as we know, we have a godbrother named Vishal, who is also a book distributor. And I was with Vishal in Los Angeles, and he was the #1 book distributor in like 1972, and nobody could figure out how he was distributing so many books. He would go to Venice Beach every day. And later we found out that he was on welfare, and he was taking his whole welfare check, cashing it in, and then giving out books, and because that way he'd get the Maha plate if he was #1. So Vishal he was kind of a happy-go-lucky person. But he distributed books, I think, even till the end of his life. So, Vishal Prabhu ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Jai Sri Radhe.
His Grace Mahatma Prabhu ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Samavata Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai.
Do we have more time? Yeah, if someone wants to share, we have some time. Anyone like to share some nectar? Or yes.
You're talking about, we've heard it, just in classes that there's rumors of demons in the spiritual world, and that amplifies the rasa. And then you were talking about how the feelings of separation, it's like rumors of separation in the spiritual world. So
How does that work?
Yeah, maybe can we expand on that a little? I mean, if you feel like it.
Well, I have read or heard that periodically Krishna in the spiritual world goes to Mathura to kill Kamsa, but it doesn't really happen. but it seems like it happens.
That's good enough.
Yeah, I mean, you know. But my point was, what's going on down here is so special. You know, when the gopis who were not yet qualified for the rasa dance were prevented, you know that story, they were prevented from joining the rasa dance, right? By their husbands, right? So everybody thinks, oh, those husbands, they're so bad. They're preventing the gopis from going. That was all Yoga Maya. They're all devotees. They were preventing them to create separation so that they could become purified. So they couldn't go, and they died. They gave up their, all contamination they gave up. And then they could go. So that...
There's a verse, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, Maya kalpita tadrika stri shilanana anusuyavi na jatu brajadevinam pativi saha sangama. So when to intensify and make the more pure desire from Sarup Siddhi to Vastu Siddhi, then Jogamaya created a duplicate husband for every gopis in their house. And then they all of a sudden they saw their body was spiritual. So that before they were Sarup Siddha, now they're Vastu Siddha. From that body, they never know what is material world.
And then they can go, then they can join rasa.
Yes.
Yeah, Rasa Leela. Anyway, it's special. Whatever is necessary to. One of the names of Radharani is Krishnamayi. So the Krishnamayi means she's absorbed in Krishna. She sees Krishna everywhere. Krishna's inside and out. So the best example is of Gulab Jamun. Inside, outside the Gulab Jamun is what? Juice, ras, right? That's Radharani. It's ras. And so everything between Radha and Krishna is to increase that ras. Let's do a little meditation. Meditate on forever until your head explodes. Meditate. No beginning, no end. Meditate on that. Okay, that was difficult, wasn't it? Meditate on this. Every time Krishna sees Radha, his beauty and love increases. Every time she sees Krishna's beauty and love increase, she increases her love and beauty. Meditate that happening forever. So whatever is necessary to increase ras, Radha and Krishna and Yoga Maya will arrange that. And then whether it's here or there, how it happens, it's just for that purpose. Oh, Krishna's going to Mathura. You ready? Oh, just tell me when you're ready. What? Oh, I'll stop. I was just waiting for you. Oh, okay. All right. So, yeah. So whatever Yoga Maya is arranging, it's just to increase that ras. And Krishna's inviting us to join in that ras, but we're trying to enjoy this material ras. Problem, isn't it? Have you noticed that problem? We're trying to enjoy the material ras, and we're not able to enter that spiritual ras because we're trying to enjoy the material ras. And they're calling us and they're inviting us. And Mahaprabhu is coming, he's making it so easy. And within that holy name is everything, and everything will come from that. And Prabhupada, just like Anuttama was talking yesterday about Raganuga Bhakti, but Prabhupada said, everything will come from the holy name. It'll all come. If we just take the holy name properly. And Radhe, Radhe. It's our only hope. She's our only hope. And everything will be understood. All these questions will be understood. Krishna wants us to go back to Godhead more than we do. And Prabhupada said the gopis are experiencing pleasure 10 million times more than Krishna. And that's available to us. That's inconceivable, isn't it? Prabhu, you want to go back to Godhead? It's so hard. So many rounds, 16, so much. 10 million times more pleasure than Krishna's experiencing. Yeah, but I don't know. Yeah, it's like so hard, and I got so many plans. Hare Krishna. Oh, Radha, please help us. Help us develop that desire. Yes. Anyone else? Questions, comments?
Good? Ready? Okay, ready.
Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki.